stream. Start the stream. Start the stream. Ah, it failed to connect again.
To YouTube?
No, to my Facebook. It's weird. I don't know why it's dropping my stream key.
Because it is Facebook.
That's broadcasting. That looks good. Excellent. Excellent. That's what happened. I forgot my stream key on Saturday. That's why I ended up dropping it and then just moving right away.
Gotcha.
So, no, we're good now. We're rocking. So we're still on timing. Yep.
Oh,
we're
sweet.
good.
Love it.
We're still on a timer. Everyone can hear you at this moment. So make sure to say everything that you want to say, just without them seeing your face. So all the inappropriate stuff happens now. This is gonna work. 156. Looking good. Should we pour before? Oh yeah.
I mean, we're
already good. Actually,
yeah.
Oliver, you need to. We need to get you a pour.
I don't take any tequila.
no tequila.
No tequila.
Are you going with His Majesty's Satanic Sweetie Emporium?
No, I'm going to start with the other one.
With the Blooming Marvelous.
With the Blooming Marvelous. Not as sweet as the other one. Stop. Hey, it's cask strength.
I was just, you know how we do it in Texas. Say stop and then hang on account.
Yeah, I heard a lot about driving under the influence of water.
Yeah.
Is a crime.
How are we looking over here?
I don't see anything yet.
I saw it come up.
You did?
Yep.
There it is.
Good.
It's
I
interesting
see it.
how quiet this room is against the movie out there.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Big
Sound,
difference.
yeah, these
It's
are sound deadening drapes.
Yeah, that,
Makes a huge difference.
they really
29.
deaden it.
I think we need some for the bedroom.
What's that?
These drapes. I'm looking at Kathleen. Sound deadening drapes. That's it? Okay.
15.
As long as they are just
Maybe do yourself a favor and just,
as long as they are just deadening the sound, everything's will be good.
uh-huh.
And they look like they're
3, 2, 1, bam.
cover the light.
We are live.
Are we?
We are in. You ready?
Yep.
You ready for this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go. Up top.
Yeah.
High five all the way around.
Yeah. Oops.
Swing and a miss.
That's never happened.
All right. What's up? What's up? It's all going to go better than that, I promise you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and also Mark Meyer, this is Cigar Talk Live. This is our Tuesday get-together. This is where we finally, once a week, get to sit and have a cigar in what we'll call a virtual cigar lounge, which the virtual word has been used way too much over the past couple of years. So This is us just sitting, drinking tequila and scotch and smoking cigars with people we like being around. And you are on that list of people we like being around. So make sure to hit comment, like, share, get it out there to the world. I think we'll probably give some stuff away today. And just want to say thank you for being here. And also, thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
For those of you who have been living under a rock for the past weekend or so, will you give them a snapshot of who you are and what it is you're doing here?
Yeah. Guten Tag. Mein Name is Oliver Nichols. My name is Oliver Nichols. And I'm one of the co-founders of German Engineered Cigars.
Pretty simple.
Yep.
Pretty simple.
That's
Perfect.
I'm very excited because
And I'm German, so you short.
to the point.
Short and precise, to the point.
Yeah.
No, I love that because sometimes you have people, obviously, well, your first language may not be English, but your English is unbelievably good.
Oh, it's perfect.
It is perfect.
Thank you.
I've said a lot of double meaning things you've always picked up on. I'm just truly impressed. And so I don't feel as bad about what is about to happen.
No.
Right.
Because you're not
Not
quite
at all.
there.
Some of
Pops,
it will
Adrian,
register.
what's happening?
Not much. It's a Tuesday. We're back in the saddle again, and
Yeah.
This is the day I look forward to. This and Saturday morning and everything else is just
Yeah, everything else in
Something
between.
to do.
It's just another day.
yeah.
But yeah, Tuesday evening with the guys. What's up, Alex? What's up?
Mark Myers asking if you
Clayton.
liked the Dusty Wild Turkey, that shot of 2-ounce shot of 20-year-old wild turkey that he gave you the other
Oh,
night.
I did. I certainly did. I enjoyed it.
Very good.
I
huh?
really did. Yep.
Cheers,
What's up,
mates.
Weston? What's up, J-Dub?
So yeah, we have to
Cheers.
Cheers. This is
Now we
our
can get
tradition.
started. Now we can get started. Cheers to all of you. Please don't forget to drop in some questions, comments. We will talk cigars slightly.
Little
and,
bit.
and then we'll get off of that and we'll get into the judgment zone. So we need your help with that. You just sat in on a unique experience
Oh, I did.
for our selection committee, day
Yep.
1 of 2. What do you think?
I'm still dizzy. I never smoked so many cigars in such a short time in my life.
Yeah.
But I was extremely amazed how you do this, extremely amazed how you choose your cigars. And I'm even more amazed that I made that cut with my cigars.
Yeah.
That was like, if I had seen this before, I would say, no, don't even try that.
It was the only cigar when we did the tests. Was it after TPE?
Yep.
That was
After
yep.
TPE,
Yep.
February.
and it was the only cigar that got a unanimous vote. Now today we had 11. We had
11 people.
11 people. We had 8 at the last one. But then after we smoked 26 cigars,
I think 28 blends total.
28 different blends. Then we went back and smoked a German engineered cigar and realized that there was a difference between first string players and guys that aren't going to make the team.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
Just
Thank you.
it was an incredible thing.
It's really unique. It's
This, for me, this is I'll probably when I get back home, I'll be 2 inch taller. I'll also be 5 inch wider, but this is something completely different.
Let me ask you, what did you think about the Texas Twinkie yesterday?
That was fabulous. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It reminded me a little bit of a German recipe for what's called Rouladen, which is a little bit similar with a different filling, but I really loved it.
But they use a jalapeno.
No. There's no jalapenos in Germany.
Ah.
They use pickled cucumbers, onions, a little bit of mustard, and salt and pepper.
Nice.
Yeah. What were
Nice.
those things? Who made all those roll-ups for Christmas? Is that just
Lisa.
kind of trash Czech food, or what is that?
Yeah.
Where they take pickles and then they take cream cheese,
and then like thinly sliced, I guess, lunch meat.
Uh-huh.
And then they just take the pickle, cover it up with cream cheese, wrap the meat around, and then cut it in little slices, like little slices of banana.
Yeah.
But the saltiness, the creaminess, the bitterness of the pickle, it goes together
It's
perfect.
excellent.
Everything individually is I like, but all together,
It's,
I would never
it's
think
a
of putting that
whole
together.
different
Yeah.
experience.
It's awesome. It's
yeah.
awesome. Cold.
Sounds a bit like Texan sushi.
It looks like Texas sushi.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
That is a valid point. So so you have eaten sushi while you were here.
No.
Fried.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, we fry it, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
If you want to live healthy, Texas is not the place to be.
No.
It's got cigars.
We do have plenty of cigars.
Amen.
and good whiskey, so-
Amen.
So you
Josh-
you traveled from
Appreciate you, brother.
The-
Hit share for us.
PCA trade show, drove from Las Vegas to Dallas.
Yep.
You had your first event as a cigar brand owner on Saturday night.
Right.
So tell the lucky listeners out there, what was your experience at your first cigar shop event?
First of all, when I came here and you showed me the shop and showed me the whole environment, I was amazed how well organized everything is. And I'm a German. I'm used to kind of well organized stuff. But the level of detail, the love for detail, that really amazed me. And I've seen a lot of lounges, but never something like that. You need to work on the hot chair. It's a bit uncomfortable.
The hot seat on Saturday
The
morning.
hot seat.
The hot seat.
Yeah.
But it
not
was
there
just
for
a quick
to
thing,
sit-
so it was okay with me.
Yeah.
It was okay with me. I was overly nervous with everything because it's my first event. I've done a lot of events in other businesses, so I thought, well, yeah, I got the experience. And no, I didn't. But it was amazing. It was amazing. The feedback that I got was amazing. I'm really grateful to be here. Really grateful for the cigars you gave me.
Oh, yeah. You gave him some cigars that are about 90 years old.
It was,
The wrappers look like they've been dipped in motor oil.
Nice.
but they smelled not like being dipped in motor oil.
Yeah. And very, very,
and
very
they-
old
and they
motor
also,
oil.
also tasted not like it, but it was fantastic. It was a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Absolutely.
I cannot thank you enough.
No.
I feel home.
Good.
Excellent.
You have a home here. This is.
There's a lot of German towns in Texas.
Yeah.
Fredericksburg being one. There's a lot of settlers that came in.
Yeah.
And they settled, and so there's a lot. You go to Fredericksburg, amongst many other South Texas towns,
Yeah.
and many German restaurants. A lot of influence on the beer, the culture, the food, everything. So
Yeah.
it makes sense that you feel at home.
Yeah.
Good.
But I'm feeling at home here.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And all the people who are joining in, William, welcome in, Larry. It sounds like a notification didn't ding through Facebook that we were going live. So
Oh, it didn't.
We do
Well,
need
be
your
sure to-
help. If
Yeah,
you
share
comment,
this.
like, and share this, it's going to help us bump us up and let your friends know that we are live. So appreciate you guys
Yeah,
joining
give
in.
us a comment tonight. Let's start out with where are you coming in from? Hopefully you're smoking something. If you are, what is it? And if you're drinking something, hopefully it's a lot. And let us know what that is too. Let's see how everything is all pairing together.
Zach, I haven't seen Zach in a while. Man,
No, Zach
good to
is
see you.
saying-
Yeah, good to see your name.
The Nimitz Museum.
Yeah, that's in
His parents
Fredericksburg.
were German.
Yep.
Man.
Nice. Julie's watching.
You know what I was sitting here thinking as we were talking about food at the beginning? I realized this will also be cultural. This tells a little bit about where you're from.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about that food or that dessert, that item that was the most nostalgic. If you think about your childhood, what is the food that, if there's one item, what is that food that takes you back to childhood? What do you guys say?
Interestingly enough, one of my favorite things, my Aunt Midge used to make this for us, and it's German pancakes. It's a thin.
great.
I'm gonna make them,
Yeah.
and they're thin. It's almost like a fried pancake. They're dense. They're not very thick. Imagine just a thick, dense crepe, but then she would put butter and tons of butter and sour cream, or not sour cream, but butter and powdered sugar and syrup, and it was
Really?
and it's very dense, and it fills up the whole pan. You typically cook it in a cast iron skillet. So I have recipes. I looked them up. I'm gonna make them for you guys, and that was something that was. She made it for us all the time, morning, noon, or night. It was it's so good.
That's what reminds you of childhood, or German pancakes.
Interestingly enough, Grandma makes goulash. And she was just talking. Last time I talked to her, she was talking about she needs to make it again. But now I'm sure it's an Omaha version of goulash.
Yeah.
But that's two foods that, and ironically, both have kind of this German feel to it. But that's two that really stick out.
Back at home, what's your nostalgic?
You were just saying pancakes. My mom to make it a little bit like more healthy. She sliced apples in thin slices. You put the pancake batter into the pan. You spread the apple slices on top, and then you try to flip it over after some time. And the sugar of the apple caramelizes a little bit. This is fantastic.
Oh, gotta
good.
give that a try.
But
Yeah.
what I remember the most is an old dish from Bremen, from my hometown. I come from Bremen, from North Germany, and they have the German name is brauner Kohl, which is kale. And what you do is you start frying the kale first, and then you put some water into it, and then you put some sausages onto it, some very specific sausages also. You put some salted meat into it, put it on the stove, and just let it cook for a few hours. And it turns a little bit brown. This is why it's called brown. And normally we say Grünkohl, means green kale. And it comes with potatoes. It's a very heavy dish. It's only served in winter time because the kale has to be frozen once. Then it tastes the best. And you normally get a lot of beer with it. You get a lot of schnapps with it because it's very heavy. It's very fat. And it's best the second day when you warm it up.
Always.
That's like chili. Chili and salsa, same
The
thing.
next day. Yeah.
Yep.
This is what I'm thinking about.
Damn. Yeah, that sounds
So
good.
Julie is
That
talking
sounds good.
about. I'll throw this at you.
Butterkuchen.
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 Yeah,
that's also from
that's
my
what you said.
hometown.
That's exactly what we said.
That's from my hometown.
What about that
Yeah,
second
really?
one?
What's
That
the
is-
what's the
other
second one?
Zuckerkuchen, it's the same because what you do is you have a yeast dough which is rather flat, and you put you push holes into it, and then you put little chunks of butter into those holes, and you put sugar onto it and sliced almonds, and then you bake it.
Sounds delicious.
It's fantastic.
I didn't have any of this. I just kept eating schnitzel when I was in Germany.
it, yeah.
I didn't know anything
you
else.
missed the whole thing.
I missed all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Wiener Schnitzel, that's about our...
That's about as far. Yeah, that's all I could order. That's probably what it is. Yeah, I was limited to what I could order.
Yeah.
What was yours like? Fried crickets or something down there? Or?
So growing up in El Paso,
Crickets?
hey, keep it down over there. Growing up in El Paso, border town, close to Mexico. My family's Mexican. We ate a lot of currywurst. Kidding. No, we did not. We have a friend that's German, and he cooks for us, and very often he cooks German meals for us.
Okay.
Love it. Love the food, but, crispy tacos for me. Crispy chicken tacos.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's different. Mine's different than all of yours.
What's
How
yours,
I
a
grew up
hamburger
was
steak?
different than all of yours.
yours-
Yeah, I was either between hamburger steak, which just means burger put on a George Foreman grill, and then you eat it with ketchup. And my dad said, "We're having steak tonight."
Yep.
And that was steak, so I appreciated
It was
that.
a little it was pre-chewed.
Or
Yep.
or the Tostitos pizzas.
Yep.
The Totito pizzas that
Oh, yeah.
Andrew would actually take Velveeta cheese, the Velveeta shells.
Macaroni and the Velveeta and shells.
That's when you really started balling. Was when we had Velveeta
that's when
shells.
he started to balloon up.
And then he would make two pizzas and then put the Velveeta shells in between there, and then he would make a little Mexican taco out of that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Fold
but
in
it's
half?
this big. No,
No,
that
it was
he
two
made like
pizzas.
a sandwich, and then just eat it. That was usually the post.
This is the kid that can't eat beef anymore, right?
Yeah,
because the
right.
system can't take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I didn't realize how
God,
strong the German
There's
ties
German
are here.
Let's see what this. We're gonna have to have a lot of translation. Coolen guys.
Sauerkraut. I
What is
recognize
that?
Cola, oh, that's a tough one. Weizen is Weizenbier, wheat beer. And some people in German put Coke into the beer.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I never did it. And
People do that?
Yeah, they do it. And it has different names in several areas of Germany. Some do it with Weizenbier, some do it with normal beer. And the area where I come from, it's called Diesel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it tastes like but okay.
Tastes like diesel.
A little bit.
That sounds disgusting.
Well,
So William's saying
imagine the
mom's
drink and then you're
mom's
there.
meatloaf and lime jello pie. Half cola, half beer is what he said.
All right, I'm gonna try it.
But then again, I mean, and I don't think I've tried it, but the drink in Mexico with the
Calimocho.
wine, yeah, and Coke,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Same thing.
same thing, right?
same thing.
yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give it a shot
So everything's better with the Coke.
with a little
Yeah,
Coke in it.
Coke, yeah, Mexican Coke.
Yeah.
Not the Bam
You gotta
Bam.
have
We're
the real
talking
sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
real
the
sugar
fake
Coke.
Yep.
I'm sorry if I'm a little distracted, but this is my 6th Ramsite this weekend, rolling into
I
today.
had
6 on Saturday.
I was going to grab that until you grabbed it.
Is so good. It is so good. And for those who are watching that have smoked a Zulu, just go buy this. And I'm going to type it in here so that way you know how to look for it. It is sensational.
Thank you.
So buttery. It has this big frothy, like on top of a cappuccino, you get that frothiness to it, a little bit of sweetness. It's just perfect. For anyone who wants to smoke a cigar that they're not going to wake up in the morning and taste and feel, it's phenomenal. It's just cleaning my palate after our tasting session. So thank you for doing whatever you did to this cigar because you blended it for me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh.
I personally didn't blend it. Claudio blended it. But
Well, he
told
did
him-
a great job.
But I told him what to do.
Yeah.
Same
That's
thing.
my job.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Make a good cigar and don't come out until you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good direction. I like that. No, if you guys haven't had the German engineered cigars, at this point, I did notice on your dealer locator, there was 2 dealers in Dallas. Unfortunately, one of them has passed away.
Yep.
One of the dealers is
they're
gone.
not dead. The company just went under.
Yeah, exactly. The company passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are the only place in Dallas so you can get this cigar.
Are we really?
Yeah. You are.
And so now we just have to give them a reason to not have to have any other dealers in this market. But the German engineer cigars, as you guys, as Oliver has just experienced the process, in order for us to have a cigar that makes our floor, we tested 26, 28 different blends this evening, right before this. We tasted a lot of cigars. There's a lot of cigars, ladies and gentlemen, that are not good. I'm not going to name names, but you will not see the names on our floor, so you'll have to continue to guess. But it is, it's the nasty side of the business if you're going to actually have a curated floor. But what was interesting was even after 28 cigars, to pick up a cigar that was the only cigar that was accepted after the last time we did this, and get that confirmation that, yeah, this is much, much better than anything that's out there. For those of you that like that cigar that's right down the middle, it's not aggressive. It is a comfortable cigar. I smoked 6 on Saturday, and I was perfectly fine with that. It's not a cigar that, like some of the cigars we smoked tonight in our test, could you imagine after finishing one of them to think actually about smoking it again?
No.
Right afterwards?
No, I
There's
couldn't
no
imagine
way.
finishing the cigar.
No.
No, and it's just, so we talk about a comfortable cigar, a cigar that you could, is sessionable, meaning you could smoke one right after the other. I mix up the ring gauges. The Autonome, the Lancero is spectacular. The RBGN is outstanding, but this Rome site is a cigar we've been waiting for due to the growing pains of a growing company and dealing with third world countries that almost take an attitude, you're in Germany and I'm in the Dominican, come get me. You know? It's what are you going to do? Come down here? But it is, the cigars are made, they're perfectly, I mean, these things are in a quality construction range of only cigars like Atabey and some of those that are, 3x the price. But
Agreed.
very, very comfortable cigars. We have a Gran Toro. We have Robusto. They have there's a small, what is a small cigar? The Edmundo?
Petite.
Oh,
The Petite
like a
Edmundo.
Petite Edmundo.
It's a short Robusto.
Short Robusto. It is. There are some fantastic cigars in the line. Highly, highly encourage you guys to put it together. I think what we need to do, Brandon, is put together like a little sampler where we give them the RBGN, we do the room site, and then maybe we'll include free an Autonome Lancero. I think that would be a nice little way to test the brand.
Yeah. How
But
about
it's-
this?
it's a line that will
How about
stick.
this? If you're watching, click that link that Adrian Cigars and Guns put in. Go in. If you pick up one of each blend on our e-commerce before the show gets done, then we'll go and pick that order and
When
make
we
sure
pick
you
the
have
order,
an
we'll
auto
put that in there for you.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. What up, Frank Tomaszewski?
So we've got a question coming in. Roberto Cavalle is asking, what's the best drink and cigar pairing, essentially? And that's a loaded question,
Wow,
right?
that
'Cause
is.
I think it depends on the cigar and
And your personal preferences,
your
your
personal
palate,
preference for sure.
and the time of the day. I mean,
Yeah.
a cigar and a good whiskey is always a good pairing, unless it's an unpeated whiskey and you like whiskey and it's
Yep.
not 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it depends what you do 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe
That's
it's,
right, yeah.
maybe it's still part of the last evening, then maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, coffee is always a great pairing.
Coffee is great.
no matter what time of the day. But I think either Pops or Brandon kind of figured out at one point chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk,
That's,
yeah.
that's a
Milk
nice
is,
one. That's
is
a nice one.
Dairy,
great pairing.
dairy is a natural palate cleanser, so you combine
Yeah.
dairy with the chocolate that sets up your palate plus the sugar, and it's just
What's up,
it's a natural. Nuts, any
Yeah.
of those things are great palate cleansers.
Yeah.
Cheese is the ultimate palate cleanser, but
If you could do one pairing, let's just talk about it. As far as spirit-wise, what are you going with? And not just whiskey, but what whiskey? Or not just tequila, what tequila?
no, you did a tequila with a. Now, unfortunately, it's a cigar that's not readily available. But you used a Cochon Vallon that had the Mexican San Andreas wrapper on it. And what was your experience with that? Because you were with Chris Pennington, who has a pretty good palate.
Yep, very good palate.
But you experienced something, and then you had him do it, and he experienced the exact same thing, and it was bizarre.
Yeah, it was with the Socorro tequila, the Añejo, which is a phenomenal tequila. If you haven't drank it, please drink it. But anything with that San Andreas, with this particular one, it tasted like a Reese's peanut butter cup. Tasted like, no joke, completely from scratch. We asked each other, yep, Reese's, we both tasted it.
But you didn't tip him off. You just said, "What do you taste?"
No, it was.
And he said Reese's peanut
It was
butter
very
cup.
clear.
Yeah.
It was very. Every once in a while, you'll have that pairing or that note or that experience that is almost the muse you chase as a cigar smoker.
Yeah.
You enjoy it, you have fun, but then every once in a while, it's there for a draw or two, and then it's gone forever.
It's
magical.
so much. Technically, it's so much about pH, the pH of the smoke, and the pH of the drink.
You see, you just joined us.
Who's that?
Before you start talking all scientific pH shit again.
Yeah.
Lupe Nunez.
So we need you to say hello to Lupe. That's one of the things that we had such a great conversation with Lupe.
You know what? He was smoking the German engineer. We
That's
gave him the German
No,
engineer.
I was telling him this last night,
Right.
about how I watched a grown man's life change in the cigar world. And
Oh,
look, if we're
that was him.
exaggerating, you let us know. But this is him. He has jumped in.
Yes,
He's in
and
San
this
Antonio,
is the man.
Texas.
This is the man
This
who
is the man
created
that
it.
created that cigar. And I watched.
His name is Lupe.
Lupe was just happened to be in this bar that allowed smoking cigars. He just happened to be there. He wasn't there for the show. And we started talking, and we talked till 1:30 in the morning.
Wow.
But it was almost like if we would have had an hour and a half with him at the shop, he would have had the same experience, which is education, education, education. But he was talking about some of the cigars that he smoked, and so many of them were the name brands, right? Tabernacles.
You know what you know.
You know what you know.
Yeah.
And you pulled that German engineer out of your pocket and you handed it to him. And his first pull, it was fun to see.
Yeah.
His cigar life changed. And tell me if I'm full of shit, but I'm telling you, what I saw was somebody. And the funniest part was where he's now halfway through the cigar. And you saw me doing this. He's halfway through the cigar, and there's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of ash on it. And he goes, "I'm afraid I'm gonna drop this ash." And I go, "Give me your cigar." And I just started going like this. And he was just looking, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" I mean, it was just, it was so cool. Hopefully you had a great time.
But congratulations, because it was.
Lupe, thank you. Because this is exactly the reason why I am in the cigar industry. This is what I want. I want to have cigars that bring something completely new to me, that give me a completely new experience,
Yeah.
and I want to transfer this to other people, and this really makes me happy. If that happens to other people, it makes my cigar life valuable. That's the only reason why I'm in the cigar industry. I love cigars myself, and I hate boring cigars.
Yep.
I love interesting cigars. I love cigars that surprise me, that
Yeah.
give me something different, something new, a new twist that I haven't had before. Like, I remember in the testing sessions, we had so much pepper.
So much pepper.
It was
Yeah.
like every second cigar was peppery.
Pepper.
Black, white,
Pepper
undistinct,
bombs.
jalapenos, everything.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have, sometimes to have a little pepper in the cigar, but that's not all.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I heard the story,
Yes.
I was so happy. I was
Yeah,
so happy because that really is what I'm here for.
I am so excited that you came in tonight. That made me feel good because I know that we helped somebody climb up 3 or 4 steps in their cigar journey, heading towards the top, and that's a huge reward for us. But I know that for you, it's like when you talked about how you enjoy cooking. Nothing gives you more satisfaction than everybody liking your food, and you created something here. And the one thing that we have learned by having Oliver here is everything is experience driven. We're not talking about specific leaves that create certain. We're talking about a cigar that's going to take you in a certain direction, and he talks about it from an experience perspective, and the cigar is what gets you there. It's no different than watching a Mercedes commercial. They're never talking about the horsepower. They're just showing somebody having an amazing time, and it's about the experience. Yeah. It's not about the nuts and bolts. And it is. I'm so glad that you're in. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, that's enough cigar talk. Yeah, that's key. Right. Yeah, he makes good cigars. All right, if you don't smoke German, then do it.
Just try them.
All right, now.
And if you don't like them, I'm good with it too.
Let's. That's right. But you should.
And by the way, they are online now.
Yes, they are. I just dropped that in there. We need to talk here. We need to talk cars for a second, then we'll pivot. Okay. The first car was, or the first question was nostalgia. Right, we're starting to hop into the judgment zone. So judge a little bit, and then the next question's coming in super hot. You got to watch out for the next one. This one eases you in. But I want to know what the first car that made you fall in love was. Think of that car that when you were a kid, you could have made posters all over your walls. Like, what is that car that just drove you nuts? Before you answer that, we all have to say what we think Oliver says.
Okay. You'll probably be very wrong.
Oh,
yep.
Well, I think we know what he has in his garage.
We know what he has in his garage.
That was not the first one.
No.
That was not the first one. That was the one I already loved to have.
Was it the same realm?
But that was later.
Yeah, okay.
Do you think he's always had an American soul is the question? Because right now he drives a 66 GTO.
Convertible.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So is he, the judgment question is, has he always had an affinity for the American culture and American muscle? Or before, was it less impressive?
What? So if this is a judgment zone, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, because he's just a cool dude, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that a lot of his coolness came from watching James Bond.
I'm
thinking he's like rolling in a 65 Aston Martin.
DB5 is what I was thinking.
I think he's just got that. There's
like an old Jaguar E-Type.
XKE,
yeah.
The E-Type was a dream car for me, yes, but it was not the car that was really, because it was unaffordable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I had something different.
What do you think, Adrian?
Completely different.
Yeah, I would say definitely American, because when you ask us, right, if we gave that answer, one of my first cars that I fell in love with was German. This guy, one of his first cars, and still drives a German car. Dave drives multiple cars that are not American, one being American. So yeah, I think it's Yours, American.
No.
Damn. What is it?
Completely different. When I was, how old was I? 8, 9? My uncle, he had a Citroën DS. La DS. This long, fluid form, hydropneumatic. And he took us, I was living in Bremen, and he was living in Hamburg. And he took us on a ride over the Kühlbrandbrücke, the bridge that goes over parts of the Hamburg harbor, which was for us like the eighth wonder of the world. Because it's very high, you have an extremely good look over the harbor, over the city of Hamburg.
Nice.
And that was so great. This experience in this fantastic car, in this absolutely comfortable car. I've never driven a car that is as comfortable as this Citroën. Even the new cars that I had were not as comfortable as this old Citroën.
Did that have it had a reverse suspension that had a pivot in the middle of the vehicle, and it was an air ride?
No, it was an air ride. It was kind of an air ride. It was called hydropneumatic. What it did is you started the car, and that's it.
Yep.
You started the car, and I had the one in the middle. You started the car, and the car pumped up the hydropneumatic, put pressure onto this, and then it drove. And when you turned it off, it overnight it went slowly down.
Yeah.
So you had to start when you started it again. It went up again.
Nice.
And was extremely comfortable. So what happened in the end was my first car was an old Fiat 500, the old one. My second car was a Mini, the old one.
Yeah.
That
Pretty cool. Clown car.
Very
small.
I tuned that up to 80 horsepower. It was really funny. That was a go-kart. And then when I started serious jobs, I had the money to buy such a Citroën, which was at that time already kind of 20 years old. And I drove it daily. It was the most comfortable car I've ever driven. I loved it. But it was, after a while, old cars get rusty. A Citroën, it's not the car that is cheapest to repair. But it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic.
That's a first.
So would you buy another one?
No, because I got my Pontiac now, which is it's a completely different ride.
Yeah.
It's a completely different car. But I love vintage cars. I love all kinds of vintage cars. I love MGs. I always wanted to have a Jaguar. I once rode as a passenger in one, and he also tuned that car, and he could really handle it. It was absolutely impressive. But I also said, I like vintage cars, but I mostly like vintage car that I can afford myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was, Citroën.
Yeah.
I don't know what the first car that you would have fallen in love is.
I've told the story before. I had a cousin, Aaron, whose father, my uncle, owned a couple 911s, but he had this 930, Porsche 930, late 70s.
Yeah. 79,
And the story that
slant nose.
Yep, slant nose, quail tail.
Oh, was a 930 was the slant nose?
Slant nose,
Okay.
yeah.
And the story I told you was I was passenger, he was driving, and he said, "Hey, do me a favor, change the radio station." As I reached, he'd punch it, put me back in my seat, and I could not change the radio, and that was the joke. But ever since then, red.
I have to.
Exterior,
Guards red.
beautiful.
There was a perfect 930 slant nose red when we went for Ale for dinner. It was sitting out front of this restaurant.
Perfect.
It was
Nothing
incredible.
was incorrect. There wasn't wear on the seats.
Yeah.
It stopped everyone in their tracks. Right, and Ale was like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I could drive one of those." I was like, first off, no, you couldn't. Second off, how much do you think that car is?
Yeah.
No, I don't know, like 50,000. We started looking it up. Those are $300,000-$400,000 cars.
I believe
Yeah, it was
it.
such
And
a
it was a
small
turbo.
production.
It was a slant nose turbo,
Yeah.
guards red, black interior, big old shifter on it,
Yeah.
big steering wheel on it.
Brutal. Turbo is brutal.
Oh, just beautiful.
And you really need to know how to handle this car when you push it down. Because otherwise you'll be off the road quicker than you can say hello.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, in that
The weights
boxer
in the
motor,
back.
they really called that the Widowmaker, right?
Yeah.
Because as you would
Yeah.
lift in the corners, that boxer motor would step up,
Yeah.
get that outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
To this day, both Aaron and Ralph, they're my cousins, each they drive Porsches. And just because of their dad, just kind of brought them up that way.
Yep.
it's good parenting.
Yeah.
You know, drive
Oh,
a
yeah.
Porsche, you got a good parent.
Yep.
That's it. Pops, what was the first car you fell in love with?
Well,
Because you grew up different.
I grew up I grew up on drag strips, so things like, I always drew pictures of cars, and I was always fascinated by funny cars with the bodies lifted up. So I always drew pictures of those. But just even a '55 Chevy, Grandpa's
Yeah.
'55 Chevy, in that gasser style with the wheel wells cut out with the slicks in there and small tires on the front. That was always the car.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I just always.
Big
That was the
blower.
one I always drew pictures of when I was a little
Yep.
kid.
Yeah,
No.
smoke coming out of the back.
Oh, yeah.
You'd always have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, smoke coming out of the back. Oh, I would have to say mine is the first one that made me realize that I was alive on this planet. May have been maybe the Ferrari Testarossa or the Porsche 959. Once you really started getting into that supercar era,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you get to that. Now you look at a
959.
Testarossa and the V6 Camaro is faster than that, but that Testarossa, the way it was so emotional to look at, it
Yeah.
had those side strakes, a gated shifter, the sound, everything, and that's still to this day unbelievable.
You remember the old Lamborghini Countach?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's
Of course, that's iconic.
where they said that looks like the upper part of a flying saucer that has just landed on Earth,
I could see that.
because it was so
I could see that.
so brutally designed
Yep.
and with all those corners and nothing round.
Even the
everything.
spoiler was a triangle in the front of the spoiler.
Yeah, it was like-
or in the back.
amazing.
That's so iconic.
For supercars, that was my dream car. I
The-
really loved
the Countach.
that. Yeah, I really loved that.
So those of you that are out there watching us, let us know what was the car that made you fall in love with cars. Now, I think Oliver's been in Texas long enough. He's going to get back and try to find an F-150 pickup truck in Germany.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a big Ford F-150 with like Texas stickers on it.
Let's talk about gas prices in Germany.
Yeah.
What's a gallon of gas or
About between
Equal-
9 and 10 euros, which is about between $9 and $10.
Yikes.
Yeah. No thanks.
That is not fun.
That's not
9
fun.
and 10?
Could you imagine filling your 30-gallon tank?
Could you imagine going 120 in a Porsche 924? Who knew that a Porsche 924 got up to 120?
Downhill.
A downhill, downwind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the back hatch open.
924.
With the passengers doing one of
Oh,
these,
yeah, you're rocking it. Getting that last mile per hour for
and you use
sure.
the doors to get a little tailwind.
William
man.
was 68 Camaro. And Julie 68 Carmen Ghia convertible.
The Karmann Ghia, that was a nice car.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was.
The car looked like it was coming and going.
I had a
Oh, is
girlfriend.
that what that was?
Well,
Yeah.
their Corvette,
Yeah.
Corvair really looked like that. But yeah.
Yeah.
The my girlfriend at that time, she had a Karmann Ghia, and I had the Citroen. And the Citroen, they put a lot of these hydropneumatic support system into it. So you had a power steering, and you also had power brakes. In a way that it did not have a normal brake pedal. It just had a knob. So you put your foot onto the knob, and just use the weight of your foot to get the car to a stop. So it was very smooth. But so you could really quickly get it to a full stop. And that Karmann had nothing. You really had to push into it
Yep.
to get it to stop. Every time I switched, first traffic light went yellow, and I went to a full stop with the Citroen because I was like, boom, into it, and it's like, no, wrong car.
Wrong car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's pivot, boys.
All right.
Let's get into the judgment zone. The
do it.
official judgment zone of Cigar Talk Live. This is our Tuesday hard-hitting questions where we judge the character of our esteemed guests. Most people make out of this. Some people lose their jobs. We don't know which direction you're going to fall here, Oliver.
I'm self-employed. I'm my own boss.
Well, if
I will
Ulta
have to
watches
fire
this,
myself.
Yeah, you will be.
yes, that's right.
You will put
you've gotta
yourself
figure
on
it out.
2-week leave.
That is it. So all of these 3 questions are extremely important. It's on a scale of 1 to 10. Ooh. This will make sense. 10 is all in. 1 is a no. I just have no idea where you're going to stand with this,
No.
especially as we smoked around sight. So,
Yeah.
Adrian, why don't you hit him with number 1?
Yeah, and my favorite. But I don't know if this exists in Germany, though.
Of course it does. It's everywhere.
Is it?
Sure, it's called the Guggenheimen or something
different
there,
name?
but I
Okay.
guarantee you that.
So here in the States, pretty much the States, we have this thing that people call Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Is there something
Sasquatch.
similar, or Sasquatch? Is there something similar in Germany? And do you believe in it?
I can't remember if there's anything similar in Germany.
Okay.
I think most people in Germany believe in the monster of Loch Ness, but that is Scottish.
Yep.
But a big hairy gorilla walking around the woods in Germany, he hasn't made it over there yet, huh?
No.
So apparently
We
Bigfoot
don't-
can't swim. That's
Interesting.
really what we're
no,
saying.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm going to put you somewhere deep in the no category.
Yeah.
I'm
in
gonna
that
go
0,
ahead
1.
and say he's a
And
one.
even if there was, I wouldn't believe in it. But okay. No. So-
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So you found
You're
something.
kind of a 0 or a 1.
I would say.
Is this familiar to you? I'll put the motion in just to.
Oh, you didn't like the walk?
Oh yeah, you see that? See the walk?
Yeah.
Yep. Is that a real thing or is that a human in a monkey suit?
That was shot in the 50s.
Oh, that's the
I
original?
would say it's a
Yeah.
human in a monkey
Yeah,
suit.
because that's probably the best photo that we have. Video.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the 50s.
Yeah, this guy's got a 4K camera with an anamorphic lens on it, and that's
we
still
can't
the
get
proof that we
quality
have.
pictures of
Yeah.
Bigfoot now.
Now, in all fairness, they were there shooting a documentary, so they had film equipment.
They did
Yeah.
have cameras.
They had film equipment.
Yeah.
And
What a
okay,
coincidence.
My next question would be, how old will it get? Because that's 70 years ago.
That's right.
Or is that grandpa?
No, there's got to be
Yeah.
more than one because they spot them all over the place.
Supposedly
in the
there's
United States.
families of them and little ones.
I mean, you never know. They are finding species down in the deep sea where they thought they is extinct since years now.
Yeah.
Sharks and crocodiles are millions of years old. There might be something, but I believe with the woods that we have, there is not much room for them left,
Yep.
Good point.
especially in Germany where it's smaller,
Yeah.
Yep.
smaller woods.
That's a no.
Yeah.
That's a no.
That's a big no.
Good.
Wow.
Bob's, where are you going with number 2?
Number 2. I think I know. You can't tell us where you're at. We're just going to throw this out there and then we're going to judge you.
Yep.
UFOs.
Yeah.
Do they exist? And that is, have they landed on Earth? Are they amongst us? I have a theory, but are they amongst us? And the second part of the question is there life out there? So, Brandon, where do you think he lands based on the way that he describes many of his cigars?
I think he is. I think he's under 5 with here on Earth. I think he's a 9 or 10 with existence in the universe.
Okay. That's pretty solid. What do you think?
Yeah, I almost have to go the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because of
think
Jim
he's
Trader.
so wired into technology that because of his computer background and everything, and he's seen how far we've gone from PC DOS all the way up to the operating systems we have now. He's seen this migration of technology, and he's thinking, what if somebody is a million years ahead of us in technology? So I'm going to say he's a 8 on they've been here, and a pretty solid 10 that they're out there.
Oliver, what do you think?
When I was a youngster, I was extremely interested
go.
in
Good.
in space, watching stars and really looking at that. And I was also interested in what happened with the SETI project, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The whiskey is working.
Good.
For
Your
me,
English is getting better, by the way.
Yeah, it is. We're really on the same page.
Little German Scotch, and all of a sudden his English is fluent.
there are two things for me to that. First of all, if they came here, or if they come here, why don't they just make contact? If I'm intelligent species and I can travel light years to here, and I look at this planet, I certainly know immediately these guys are no enemies for us. They don't match us. So we can make contact, no problem. They are no threat for us. And the second thing is, and this what I found very interesting, I'm pretty sure there is life out there. But you don't know what kind of life, and you don't know when. There might be life out there, or there might have been life out there that is long, maybe similar to ours, but this is long gone. Because they are millions and billions of light years away.
Yep.
So, looking at the vast size of the universe, I know this is a German answer, but I love and with my brand, I trust in science. Looking at the vast size of the universe, the chances that there is life out there is extremely high.
Yep.
Maybe 100%, but we don't know where, and it's just too long a distance. And there's still big discussions about can we travel faster than the speed of light. If not, we might be forever separated.
Yep.
Because if we can't physically and from standpoint of physics, then they probably won't as well. Does that answer?
Nope, not really.
I know.
No.
I know. So is the light out there 10? Have they been here? I would say 3.
Yep.
Are they
What up,
visiting
Marty,
us
up there?
regularly? 0.
0. Yep.
Well, that's where Dave comes in.
I think they came in. Well, I believe that. I believe that women, redheaded women, are aliens, and but now it's possible that they sent somebody down, dropped them in the crowd, and went, "These are a bunch of emotional people." I was going to say something else.
Yep.
But they're a bunch of emotional people. I don't know how they would react if we said, "Hey, we're here. We're going to come hang out. We got a couple of spaceships up there just observing," and watch everybody go into just utter panic.
Yeah, we would definitely attack.
Yeah. Oh, we would shoot it no matter what.
I mean, haven't you seen Independence Day?
Yeah.
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 That was a documentary.
That was a documentary.
It was a
much.
documentary. It was
Cigar show.
German director?
Was it?
I think so, yeah. I'm not sure.
That makes sense.
All right.
I'm not sure.
All right.
Well, I know that there were cigars in it, so
And we saved the world.
we
Right.
saved the world.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep. You're
American
welcome.
movie, can say.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
tell.
Shoot him. Yep, that's right. Jim Trader, what's happening? Good evening, Marty Upton. Good evening to you as well, Larry Adams. We haven't given you a formal shout out, but good evening up in Missouri. The third.
Lupe says he needs a King Ranch diesel. Can you imagine what diesel is over in Germany?
Is diesel more expensive than regular petrol?
No, it's the exact opposite, because we've got lots of trucks also that pass through the country. Germany's in the middle of Europe, so we've got lots of trucks, lots of transport passing through us, and we also got a large logistics and transportation industry. So what they did is they lowered the price of diesel, so there's not that much tax on diesel, because most of the trucks in Europe are diesel.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Mercedes does a lot of diesels.
Yeah. And what happened then was that people who drive very long, people who have a large mileage over the year, they pay more taxes for their car, for their diesel car, but after something like 15,000 miles or so, it breaks even. And then the diesel engine is cheaper. So we've got a lot of diesel cars in the street right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't we do that?
Well, now with the new gas prices.
No, diesel's more expensive than.
Yeah, diesel's
Yeah,
more
but
expensive.
Yeah.
with the new gas prices, it kind of leveled out. So
Almost.
diesel became the same price as regular gas,
Yeah.
and all those diesel drivers are now trying to get rid of their diesels.
Yep. Yep.
Interesting.
Diesel's dead.
Brandon,
Yeah.
The third.
Judgment Zone. Question number 3.
I don't know where he's going to sit on this.
Well,
I don't know where he's at on this spectrum.
very ethereal.
This is a two-parter. The first, it has to do with life after death, and one of which is ghosts, apparitions, as in physical representations of spirits here on Earth. Is that? Do you believe in that? And then, to piggyback, spirits and a connection with the metaphysical world. Maybe not apparitions floating around making bacon in the morning and stuff, but can we connect with another realm? Do we have a connection?
Okay, so we got to. Adrian, where are you at in the Judgment Zone on this?
Oh, what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All over.
Notice we're not letting Oliver judge us. That's the thing I noticed. That's working out real well
We should
too.
do that.
That's our show.
That's a fair show.
It is. Yeah.
I need a chair that's a bit more uncomfortable.
Let's get the hot
We can
seat.
go get the hot seat.
Yeah, I get it.
I would say Ghost 0, Spirits 8.
Okay. Okay. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I'm going to. I'm thinking he hears a lot of creaks and steps, and all these ghost shows actually originated in Europe. These ghost hunting shows.
There's a lot
I'm
of
sure
history
he's
over
heard.
there.
Yeah, I mean they were dying a lot longer than we were. You know, they have 500-year-old buildings and things like that.
Yep.
U.S. isn't even that old yet. I'm gonna go. God, I'm so close to a 5, and you can't have a 5.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go 4 on the seeing of a ghost, but there's something that tells me he's had an experience spiritually. So I'm going 8, leaning up against the 9 post.
Yeah, I'm going to 4-7.
4-7.
4-7. Where do you stand?
I don't believe in ghosts. I think it's exactly what you said. Most of the thinking of ghosts comes from old houses. You sit there, the wind is howling around the house, or the old doors are creaking, or the old floors are creaking.
Yeah.
Especially when you are young and alone in your room.
Oh, yeah.
That makes you believe in something is out there, or underneath the bed, or I don't know what. And I don't want to sleep alone. And it's a very good argument not to sleep alone, but to get into parents' bed and sleep there, because it's much more nicer. It's much nicer. And I also don't believe in any spiritual connections that we can make to some other dimension. I simply don't believe in that. I believe in a life after death. I'm a Christian.
Yep.
And I very much hope to see my dad again when I'm gone.
Yeah.
And that's what
Makes sense.
I truly believe in, that there is something. It's not the end. There is
Yeah.
something, but it probably will be very disconnected to our world here.
Yeah.
And there is maybe part of the concept that there is no connection to our world. Yeah, because I think otherwise our world would very much look different.
Yeah.
How do you think it would look different?
I think if I had a connection, direct connection somehow to talk with my parents or with my grandparents, I would consult them for some decisions that I make. And many people will probably do that or try that. Yeah.
Or they make a decision, and then they're convinced that they got the answer from
Yeah.
Something
the
like
outer
that.
world.
Yeah, or they make a decision and then they get just some. Don't you do that? Not a good idea. Yeah, I taught you otherwise. Yeah,
What's up, Tom? Thanks for joining.
But very well. I mean, at the end of it, you could see that, people praying and getting a response from it, or so they believe. But maybe those are just the concepts and character and values that their parents had instilled in them long ago. So they're just basically speaking to the wall and going, well, the actual answer. You're just looking into the mirror.
I know that people get a lot of help praying. I myself get help praying, and also out of my family. My wife's grandmother, she became 101 years, and she lost her husband, she lost her daughter in that time. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she could have made it without praying, without believing in God, believing in some other world that is up there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this is something that is, I think that is something driving us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Otherwise, what's the point?
Okay, that's just not. I know that this is not a clear 1 or 10 for your questions, but
that is actually a good answer.
That's the honest answer. That is the honest answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's better to live as though there is rather than not.
Yeah, and it's also I think it's for us it's a way, or it should be a way, to find a guidance while we live, according to some belief that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially when you look at whatever religion, all of them are about doing something good, leading a good life, helping people. And if we didn't have that, our whole world would look completely different. Down to our legal system. Most of our legal system in Europe and most of your legal system is based on Christian values. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a very interesting question.
Makes you wonder. It makes you wonder when you hear about these guys that go the wrong way. They end up in prison. They rob a bank, kill somebody, whatever the case may be. But you always hear, when he was growing up, he was in church every Sunday, and his family was very religious. And you hear, and then they veer off, and you just wonder what was it that caused that? Right. Is it greed? Is it anger? What emotion takes over and says in your brain that's not the right thing to do, but I'm going to do it anyway?
I truly believe you are a product of your environment, and it's really easing. When I was younger, I just graduated school. I went to Mexico for an internship, and I'm down for my first week as this internship. I was 22, 23, however old I was, and I'm going out in downtown in Cabo San Lucas with someone who was older than I was. And he was kind of showing me the ropes and showing me how it was done. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we're at a bar, and then you realize, oh, this is a brothel. We're in a brothel, and a girl comes over and you buy her a drink, and I realized how malleable I was, because I was like, hang on, is this how life works? Is this just how it works? You're kind of learning at that moment of who I am, and you start seeing this echo across other cultures and other areas. But very well, had I not had, a backbone that was there, if I didn't have some sort of guiding principles in that moment to even ask the question, is this what I should be doing? You can kind of water down what is good and what is bad. And then you could easily be convinced that this is just the way the world works. This is how it's supposed to be done. You've got your family at home, and then you leave, and then you go do whatever you want to do. Yep. And I see that on the other side. But when you're speaking about prison, I'll hop back and kick it over to you guys. But just as often, you see those guys who are in prison, and then they find the Lord, right? And they come out religious.
Yeah.
They want to right their wrong, and they want to do that. So I don't know if you guys have any experiences like that, but I remember sitting there at 22, 23 years old going, I guess this is life. I guess this is just an okay thing to do now. I guess this is the life I'm going to live. Mm-hmm. And I'm from a good family. I have a good backbone, but it was like I think there are periods of time in your life where you become very vulnerable. and you got to be careful with who
Well,
you
you're
surround
faced with
yourself
the
with.
decision whether that's is that the guy you want to be.
Right.
Yeah, and at a certain point in life or at a certain age, everything that is forbidden becomes double interesting. And you want to try it. Some of the stuff you try, some of the stuff you might say, yeah, if I try it, I start thinking about the consequences, whatever they are.
Yep.
And some people might not have that family backbone where they can fall back to, where they say, okay, I've done something very wrong, but they will say, yeah, okay, do you regret? Yes. Okay, then it's good, then we're going to help you.
Yeah. What lesson
And then-
did you learn?
And then what lesson did you learn? And then one comes to the other, and maybe, yeah, it's a lot of this is what kind of support do you have in your life? It's not automatically be family, but also friends, the right friends, maybe teachers. Yeah, what kind of support do you have?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when the boys were growing up, I would always say, "You can pick your nose, but I'm picking your friends," and that was just my way of. There was always those kids that came over to the house, and you just knew the kids were trouble.
Yeah.
And you know, being their football coach when they were young, and meeting their parents, and then you get to know the kids playing sports, and you realize this kid is definitely his dad's son, and the way that they act and act out, and then you realize you see the dad on the sideline starting fights with referees and stuff, and you're going, yeah, this is the environment that this kid is growing up in.
Yep.
So there was a kid that we played with that ended
know
up going
exactly
on.
what you're talking about.
Ended up going on and I think he made it to Nebraska to play football, and then got caught like stealing a bunch of stuff. Got kicked off the team. You know, that's
Kevin? Kevin Matthews?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll never forget.
He got caught on a webcam.
I'll never forget his dad when he was probably 11, 12, and he was playing football for us, and his dad would fill out the information, name, address, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And under occupation, he put Master of the Universe.
Oh, God.
And I thought, this guy just thinks the world revolves around him.
Yeah.
And you could tell the kid was talented, but he had no guardrails. You know, he grew up just doing whatever the hell he wanted because his dad was doing whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah.
But anybody that's dad says he's master of the universe, you got to deal. He's growing up in an ego-driven environment that he's at some point he's going to try to catch up, and it didn't pay off.
Yeah, God knows what. Yeah. Yeah. So what we're trying to say is that the world needs better parents. Lots of good parents.
I think the world needs better support for people who have taken the wrong path. Whether it's parents, whether it's friends, whether it's teachers, we just need to look after each other. And if the parents of some kid don't do that, maybe the friends of the kid's friends do that, or the parents of the kid's friends do that. Yeah. And this is what society is about, and this is what I understand also is a lot of. I, as a German, see this also as an American way. You look after one another. You just look what are they doing. Maybe you talk then to some guys or try to tell those kids, listen guys, I've seen you do this and this. No, my kids hasn't done anything, but it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
What you do here. Yeah. So I think this is very important.
Yeah, I think that
I would not nail it down to parents.
but that
Very important.
point
yes,
of community.
but community. Yeah.
Yeah, community, and I think
Yeah.
that's where you have. I think that's the value of church, religion, is you have that community of people who. There is a certain feeling when you go to churches. You kind of strip away. Like, okay, I'm going to be honest with myself. You know, God's watching. You know, just like very much. We didn't grow up with the Bible as much as we grew up with. You know, Pops was basically our Bible. It's like, okay, he's watching. Pay attention.
Yep.
You
Pay
know,
attention.
act a certain
Yep.
way. So we kind of grew up in our own church.
I think, and I think
Takes a village. You're right, Marty Upton.
trouble finds trouble. And I think when you talk about, let's say there's a kid that's faced with an opportunity to do something wrong, he'll make friends with guys that also think that doing that same thing makes sense. And the more they get, the more confirmation they get for the people that they now trust. Because, of course, at that point in time, if we're talking about teenagers, the parents don't know anything. Parents are idiots, right?
Yeah.
So, but when you can, when trouble finds trouble, man, things get out of hand real quick.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think
I
they
agree.
need to learn responsibility at a certain point in time. Like, I have a son, he's 15, he's in exactly that age where you say, yeah, okay, I don't want to even know what you do, because then I worry too much. But if they do something wrong, and then I talk with him and he says, it wasn't me, it was the other guy. I said, you were together, so it's 50% responsibility. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care who did it. I even don't want to know who did it. But you were together, you did this together, you were in this together. Yeah, so that he knows it's also his responsibility to maybe tell the other guys, listen, no, we shouldn't do this. Yeah, because I'm in it, and I don't want to be in it.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is, I think,
Guilt
this is
by
very
association.
important.
Right?
Yeah,
And
it's called partner in crime.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
what's crazy is my mom is barely 5 foot tall. The only weapon she had were the wooden spoons that she broke on our backs all the time, because me and my brother were always fighting. But I was petrified of that woman. I was, and I think I was more petrified in letting her down than I was her breaking another spoon on me.
Yeah.
But I always ran things through that filter. And I remember telling you guys, before you do anything stupid, ask yourself,
What would Dad say?
what would Dad say? If I called Dad right now and said, I'm about to do this, is it okay? Answer the question.
Yep.
And you guys did a pretty good job of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yeah, we had a nice, healthy fear of God of you as well.
I think that comes down to, and this, was part of my family and our family, is that you lay down this foundation of what you think is respectful and what should be, how you should live your life. And as long as your kids had that foundation, they think back, is this right? Is this the right thing to do? Should I be doing this?
Yeah.
So it all comes
Yeah.
back to that for sure.
Yeah.
But what Brandon said earlier, but you also have to have the backbone
Oh yeah.
and not buckle under peer pressure.
Weak parents.
And buckle and have the backbone and be prepared to tell your friends, no man, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and
they get that from their community, or whether it's their friends or their parents or their friends' parents or whatever they may see. If they make that constellation, and that's where it's fun with us right now, having 5-year-old, 2-year-old, 9-month, we're not practicing. This is a live fire drill. This is live ammunition. And if you let them break now, you let them take that, but they don't have to say please and thank you. They don't have to do this. You give them that inch, they're going to remember, oh, okay, yeah. That's
got away with it once.
exactly. I got away with it once. Like every morning, you go in your room and you clean up last night's mess. You're not doing a thing until you get out. And as soon as you get into that rhythm of 2 or 3 times, they'll clean it up. No. That's not the person you're
Stay
going
on
to be.
them.
Yeah.
You stay on it. And it's fun because there's this beauty of having kids that are untainted by the world right now. It's to have kids that when you go to parent-teacher conferences and the teachers are asking to come to the house to babysit the kids. Let me do it. Great. They're saying please and thank you. Okay. There's that affirmation you get selfishly and stroke my own ego on that side. But it's like, okay, the kids are respected. They're respectful. They say please and thank you. They give hugs before they leave. It's like, oh, this is what it takes. This and consistency. Like, okay, maybe we're going to figure out how to do this thing.
I remember.
Enjoy while it lasts.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's what's important is life is temporary. It's a temporary state. And where they are, it will go away. But really, really enjoying that because there are going to be really serious conversations that need to be had as they get older. And that's a beautiful thing.
We all work. We all do work in order to do a job well done. And it takes a long time before you receive confirmation that it was a job well done with your kids. And I get that confirmation all the time. from our community here that has a chance to interact with
Yep.
you guys, and it's heartwarming to go, job well done. So from my standpoint, it's great, but yeah, you just have to start with really close guardrails and just keep them inside of it all the time, and just you can never let go. You know, you can never give up and let them drive the car for themselves.
Parenting is not an easy job.
It
can be
is
very easy,
difficult.
but when the first problems arise, you have to be in it, and you can't let loose, and you can't just say, I don't care anymore.
Can't.
And that is the hard part of it. Yeah.
It's really interesting because it's easy to think, it's easy to give yourself a trophy that you're doing well, a completion trophy that you're doing well, just because you're working hard. But that doesn't mean you're actually working. You know, you're parenting, and that's something that hit me. Was like, you know, I said something to Pop's joking not too long ago. It's like, you know, I don't think he ever said congratulations on my kids, and he went, you're not done yet. Like, you haven't earned it yet.
No.
Like, they're young. You know, and it was like, oh, that was a moment for me that I realized, boy, I've got a long time of this, you know, before I get to a point where my kids are in their 30s and my kids are running a business or whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
This is not your kid's nice right now, because all kids are nice at
The
3
moment
years
it's more your
old.
wife who receives the congratulations or who has earned it.
Yes, 100%.
100%.
100%. And it's interesting because I don't know if you know this, but Oliver and Uta actually they adopted their son
Yeah.
from Chile
Right.
when he was 9.
Yeah.
So it's a much different world than what we're used to,
Yeah.
you know, as
Yeah.
far as that goes. And I'm just curious, how do you approach a 15-year-old who's going through 15-year-old challenges, as we all do, when you didn't have the reins the year one
early
from year
development.
9, the early development to give them those rails? How do you approach that? How's that different?
We get a lot of help from people who know how to do this, who help us. We certainly wouldn't be able to do this on our own. He's got a package with him. He's aware of that. And we are aware of that. And it's just what I said. You have to be on it, and you just have to be good parents to him. Give him trust. Give him love. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. We may have, on the one hand, we may sometimes have more trouble than other parents, but on the other hand, we may have different trouble than the other parents have.
Yeah,
they have
right.
different trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
And-
valid.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's a great guy. He's really a great guy. He plays soccer well. He's good at school. He's a little bit like me. He's extremely lazy. But
What do you mean you're extremely lazy?
at that age, I was extremely lazy, and I still try to avoid work as much as I can. Although I have understood when it is avoidable and when not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love him, and he's really a great guy.
Good.
How do you deal? I mean, obviously your kids are now 31,
32 and 26.
32 and 26.
Yeah.
How did you get through those teenage years intact, married?
I mean, it was interesting because me growing up, I wasn't the perfect kid, even though my parents thought I was. But again, I had that foundation where it was like instilled in me, like, is this the right thing to do? But I had some cousins that were like, if you don't do this, or let's go do this. If you don't, you're a pussy. Right? And it was that peer pressure. But then again, we all had that same foundation. But as my kids grew into that as well, they were trying to do things that I did, when I was 15, 16 years old. Case in point, our son, I think when he was 15, 16, took one of our bottles of añejo tequila, which is typically brownish in color. Well, I went to go grab and pour us a drink, and it was clear. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I know this is what it is. Poured it, drank it. It was water. So Nathan, come here. We had the discussion with him. I'm like, okay, if you're going to be doing this, I know you drank it. I know you replaced it with water. Next time you do that, or you attempt to do that, and you won't, do something with tea or something that where it's
I mean, put in the effort.
It was not
Yeah.
the perfect crime.
Right. And so it was situations like that. But both our kids, we love them for everything that they are, and we're so proud of them for what they're doing now. That was probably the worst thing that ever happened. Our daughter was like almost like picture perfect. Nathan was that was like his worst thing.
That's it.
Yeah, and he's very driven. Before he turned 18, he was like, I'm out of the house at 18. And typically parents would be like, that's us telling them at the age of 18, go do your own thing. At the age of 18, he was at 17, he was ready to be out, wanting to do his own thing. So props for him, and yeah, he's doing well. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question necessarily, but
I think there's a very important point in it. One is, okay, you don't punish them in a way, but you teach them. Mm-hmm. Like, that was stupid, and I tell you why it was stupid. Because I found out easily. Mm. And the second thing for me is very much about giving them some kind of trust that if they do something wrong, and this is what we always tell our son and what my wife Uta told her kids, if you do something wrong and we find, and you see that we found out, if you tell us you did it, it will be much better than if you try to get around, try to lie to us. Yeah. So because then the punishment will be probably harder.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
In a way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they know that they've done wrong. They tried something out, which is probably completely normal for that age. But if they then find, okay, if I say, yeah, it was me, it was not a good idea, then it's a trust-building thing.
Mm.
Yeah?
Exactly.
So if anything really goes wrong, they might be coming to you by themselves and saying, okay, I haven't told you, but you haven't seen that yet, but this and this has happened, what can I do?
Yeah.
And I think this is also very important.
Yeah, and I think it echoes when you get to like my age, because before I make the error, I can always go, hey, always feel comfortable to go, hey, I've got this going on, I'm going to make a decision. What would you do? Mm-hmm. What's the direction? The direction's always like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to do that. Of course, that's maybe different than what I thought, but you stepped on the landmine, so I don't have to step on them. You know, and I think that's just surrounding yourself by good people outside of parenting realm, right? Yeah. Your friends or your mentors, or surrounding yourself with people better than yourself.
Yeah.
Or they just have more experience. They have more life experiences. Like you said, the older you get, the more landmines you step on. You eventually get better at seeing them in advance.
Yep.
But man, I would much rather give somebody advice and let them avoid the heartache than anything. And I think that's community, and that's part of being a good person, I think.
Let me ask you guys this: what's the last lesson? What's the last important lesson that you have learned?
You mean generally, or from parents, or?
I think just generally. 'Cause I find myself learning many lessons at this time. And we never stop learning. But
Difficult question.
yeah, I understand it's a little bit deep. It might have you go into that. But what are some of those lessons that maybe not a full landmine you've stepped on, but what are the latest lessons that wear on you? And as you think about that, it's, from my perspective, it's the reality. This is like a conversation I had yesterday, right? And I don't have a solution to it. I don't know. But thankfully, I've got a good support system, and my wife is phenomenal. My family, I just could not be more blessed than I am. It's like, as we just look at, you know, you work hard as a father, right? You work hard to make sure your kids go to the right school, everyone's taken care of. But then there's a reality of being in your early 30s that to live the life you want to live, as far as own businesses, not just have some cushy job that has a great, you know, paycheck, but it's got a boss that you hate. There are times when you're going to have more month than you have money, right? And it's this challenge, not to divulge, you know, all of everything behind the curtains, but it's like this reality of where I'm at right now, where we're going.
I know what you mean.
Being horizon focused is the lesson that I'm learning. Is we're not where we're going to be, but where we're going to be, it's not that far away. And whether not that far away means 3 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. The one lesson to anyone my age that maybe I'm learning right now is being horizon focused, squeezing the throttle, squeezing your legs, and just working. And working until it's time to be done, and then shut it off, and then be as disciplined to work as you are with your family, and your family as you are to work. So that way, when you have moments that are challenging, where we have medical bills because we have young kids that are stacked, and the solution is there, we're gonna find it. But I don't have the solution yet. You know, it's like, it would be, I don't know what it is, but I suppose the landmine that I'm currently stepping on is, it's easy to get really like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? How are we going to, you know, when, you know, lights are staying on, it's all well and good, but it's like, where we want to go and where we want to be is not here today. Yeah. But that's okay, because it's going to be here, and we're working for something. Yeah. So that shared purpose. So I just say that to kind of, you know, pull that, and I'm curious what I have to learn from everyone at the table, because you guys have, this is kind of a selfish segment, I would say.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah. If I may answer.
Yeah.
I learned two things in the past years. One is, never underestimate what you do, or never underestimate your influence on things. And this can be at work, but it can be also when you talk with your kids. Yeah. And everything that you do has some consequences. And if you are good with your kids, you may not get the reward immediately, but you will get the reward in a few years, or maybe in 10 years or 20 years. Yeah, but you should never underestimate that this work that you do, whatever it is valuable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if it is with love, with heart, with passion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can see this with my cigar brand. I can see this when I talk to my son. You must not underestimate that, what you do. You must not underestimate your influence. And the second thing I learned, very much learned, is especially when it comes to many situations where I get in trouble with him, or with at work or something like that. It is not about me. Very often it is simply not about me. It's not personal. Yeah, when he says bad things to me, or just doesn't listen or so, it is not that he wants to do something bad for me.
Yeah.
But it is him. It is about him. Mm. It is just his way that he is. Yeah, and it's just the way that his life revolves around him, and his world revolves around him. And I might just be the spaceship that's coming from somewhere and telling you, no, you shouldn't do that. Yeah, but it's not about me. It's never personal in a way. Yeah, these are the two things that I learned recently. Mm-hmm. And one thing to add, and that is something that I learned very early from my dad: respect everybody.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Respect everybody. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whoever these people are, whoever these persons, are, wherever they are, whatever they do, how much money they have, how much honor they have, how intelligent they are, what kind of jobs they have. Respect everybody. Treat everybody nicely.
Yep.
Have a
That's-
nice word for everybody.
No doubt about it.
There are some really good comments coming in here, Marty. I appreciate the kind words there. William Treadway, from a law enforcement career, let your work go when you go home. Some things are not important on the big scale of life, but family time is. You only have so much time on this great earth. Make the most of it.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
Larry Adams. Never be the first to bring up politics. I mean, valid. I mean,
I think from an advice perspective, what I learned, and we've had this conversation multiple times, and it's hard to do when you're younger, is keep your eye on the prize, but be patient. Mm-hmm. And patience, when they say patience is a virtue, there's a reason that they said that.
Yep.
Be patient and stay the course. Don't shortcut. Don't do things at the expense of your family or anything, thinking that there's a quick way to resolve the problems. And me personally, the lesson that I've learned, and it's a concerted effort this year, was I went into the year saying that I'm going to live an organized life. And I realized that in my life, if there was disorganization, I had papers all over my desk. I just had this cluster of shit in front of me that I just didn't know which pile to work on first. So it was easy to not work on any of them at all, just stress over the pile. And so I've become much more focused on organization, having everything in an order, and then just commit to knocking it down. And I've done that, and I just wish I would have did it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Your first point is, if it's funny how it drives this parallel. And forgive everyone who's watching if you're not a driver or anything like that. But what you said is, don't just cut corners to try to get there fast enough. It's the perfect analogy to driving on the track, right? Because when I was putting in some sin time, I'm putting it in, and I can watch my time, and my delta is behind, and so I start cheating the corners, and I start giving it more throttle. Yeah. But then what I realize is, I'm coasting way too far out in the corner. I can't carry the speed. Yeah. If I were to just don't overdrive and be smooth and just stick to the course.
Hit the lines.
Yep. Stay positive. Stay where you're at. Maybe this lap you might be a couple tenths slower, but the next lap you're going to just make sure you exit the last turn as fast as you can to set yourself up for a better lap the next go around.
It's the old, you got to go slow to go fast. But patience is, there isn't an answer to your problem.
Not a good one.
Fast enough. Mm-hmm. But
some things.
But when you surround yourself with people that are prepared to help you as long as you stay on the path, it can be easy. But that all comes from people that trust you, love you, support you, and all of those things. So you're never, and I say this about our ICC family too. You're never without a life jacket.
Yeah,
we will always be there to toss a life jacket. So it's fortunate everybody has stood on that bridge before. Mm-hmm. Everybody. So you're not the only one, and but there are people that will do stupid things. There are people that will try to literally gamble themselves out of trouble and get themselves in bigger trouble.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just stay the course.
Yeah, you got to bet the house to keep the house.
Some things need time to develop, and there are so many things that I've seen that they were just too early. They were rushing it. They were just too early. They weren't patient enough, and they failed.
Think about the products that have failed because they rushed them to the street.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I remember talking to the owner of that created that Bugatti lighter.
Uh-huh.
Cool lighter, cool design, really cool, but they all failed.
Yeah.
I mean, 80% of them failed. And I remember asking him, where do you think things went wrong? He goes, we rushed it to market.
Yeah.
He goes, we had to get it for the show.
They killed
we
their
rushed
brand.
it to market, and they didn't work.
Yep. They killed their brand.
They killed it.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Bugatti for
No.
shows.
Right.
Even the rep doesn't know how to get a hold of them.
Adrian, what's a lesson you've learned?
Everything that you all are saying really hits home with me. I'm on this. We are on this new journey here for the last year and a half with Cigars and Guns, and I have to say that I thought I had a good support system. I have lifelong friends that I've known since prior to high school that I'm still friends with. And when you tell them you start something new, they support you, and they're like, okay, great, whatever. Family, same thing, my parents. But when you have a spouse that just supports you 120%, and then when you have those days where you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, and she tells you, like, this is going to work, and you better make it fucking work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, and it's like, okay, I got to make this work.
Yeah.
And it's like, it reignites the fire in the belly, and it's just, it's a good place to be, and the family that I have here is just phenomenal.
Support is not
Yeah.
support is not just somebody carrying you.
No.
Sometimes support is
No.
someone pushing you.
It's kicking your ass. Like,
yeah.
get up.
Get up.
You're okay. This happened. Hey. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I want to make one other point. Years and years ago, I think it's now 13 years ago or so, I had a burnout. I worked for a huge company. I was working like hell, and had good living, was successful, everything. And then suddenly, with some problems, parents were sick and things like that, I really went into a full meltdown, burnout. I went home into my flat, stayed there for a week, didn't leave it despite for some groceries, sitting on the sofa. And after the third day, I was starting to take a big sheet of paper and was starting to write down what is really important in my life. And the funny thing was, and that was the first thing that I realized, money and career didn't barely make the list.
No.
It was family, it was luck, it was being satisfied by what I do, it was maybe making some kind of difference, but money and career, yeah, you need money to live, but you need only so much money to live. Yeah, I know this is hard on many people to hear that, who have very little and who work 3 jobs or 2 jobs only to make a living. Yeah, but if you need to focus on what is really important, whatever it is. If you're building a company, if you're living a work, if you're trying to hold on to your family, you really need to know what is important for yourself. And another thing that I found out: if you are not happy yourself, you can't make anybody happy.
Yeah.
You have to be
point.
happy
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
And these were the 2 big things that I took out of it. And for me, a lot of things have changed since then.
It's amazing when you're married to the right person, and they're truly a partner, and they'll give you that push. But it's amazing how my wife will control my mood. If she's in a good mood,
Yes.
man, I'm on top of the world.
Oh.
Yep.
But it to me, it's so when you have somebody that also believes and has the same, you're walking down the same path, it makes things a lot easier.
Just that support system,
Yes.
Just that support system. And when you're down, when you're really feeling like, what am I doing here? You get that feeling from time to time. You're like, man, I'm just spinning my wheels. And there's that feeling like when your wife like hugs you or says something or whatever it is for you. It's like just that what just happened. It's just, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. We got this. All right, cool. Back at it. And same thing with good friends, good family, good everything,
Yeah.
If you've never had your wife sing to you at the top of your lungs, 6:30 in the morning. It's a beautiful morning, or it's a beautiful day.
Oh,
then, yeah. That's what I get.
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Can we
you've
get a
got
couple
good one.
bars of that, Kathleen?
Yes, you would.
Kathleen sitting in the gallows.
I wake up and I'm like, all right.
Yep.
How can you not be in a good mood after that?
Yeah.
And if you are, then yeah.
You ever catch yourself, wanting? I don't know if it's just as a guy or as a Frankster or what. They're all happy, and you just kind of want to like poo-poo it. It's like it's a beautiful. Yeah. Okay, it's a beautiful morning. And then you catch yourself. You're going, I'm kind of a dick. I better commit to this.
Yeah.
Do I want to be this guy that's
No, you don't.
That's not happy with it's a beautiful morning.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
you're exactly right. Frank Tomaszewski tuning in saying, I think you guys have found the secret. Great support person in your life, and I will speak for him as well. He has a great wife and Sam. He's got a great family. He's got a tremendous neighbor. Paul's pretty cool. No, but it's you cannot do this alone. Can you?
You can't.
No.
Could you imagine doing German engineered cigars without Klaas?
I couldn't imagine doing it without Klaas, and I couldn't even imagine doing it without my wife. For two reasons. One is, she used to live in the U.S. for quite some time, has two sisters here.
Okay.
And I write things, and then I give you like an email to the retailers or something, and then I give her the text, and she looks at me and said, okay, yeah, no, your 20% is done, now my 80% come. And then she corrects everything, and really she also works in marketing, and she really does
Her copy is good.
look at it and say, okay, what did you want to say? I don't understand what you say here, yeah? And we work on this together, so all the texts, all the good texts that are out there, with her hands or went through her work, and she really supports me on that.
Yeah.
She doesn't say, you with your cigars. She doesn't smoke cigars, but she says, okay, if it makes you happy, then I'm going to help you, and it's the right thing.
And you
For
can
both of
see
us.
that. You can see it at the show, because when Uta is at the show, she doesn't feel like a wife that has to be there.
Yeah.
Right? She's giving hugs. She feels it. It's like you guys really vibe off of each other, and she's in the booth and she's hanging out, and she's a great personality. She's a great person. You can see
she
that.
She is.
And it's got to give you some fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
She doesn't smoke cigars yet.
She tried it once, got very sick. We had a bad start on it. It was a very strong Cuban cigar. It was some New Year's Eve, and wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
And no, she's not very much into cigars, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, it prevents me from smoking at home, in the house.
I mean, no relationship's perfect,
That's just a detail. It is a perfect relationship I have with her. I love her deeply. She loves me. I know that. Can't be better.
I will say, and if you, this is something that is, I guess, kind of applies to this. One of the greatest gifts that you can give someone, and my kids have done this, we do this back and forth to each other. We're all the first one to say, what do I say when Brandon asks me what I want for my birthday, my answer is
nothing.
And when I ask you what you want for your birthday, nothing.
It's the same here.
But what we,
but what could I want? What else could I want?
What we've has become a custom is we write each other letters on our birthday.
Yeah.
And I have them in my closet. I have them in my office. I have them in my bathroom. In my area where I get ready in the morning. I have that as a reminder. It's something you should do. It's something that is from the heart, and it is that constant reminder that you got somebody on your team. And I'll never forget, you guys did you did a box for Begley, and in it was little one-liners of all the reasons that you loved her, and that sat on our bathroom counter for years. And every once in a while, I'd catch her pulling one out and reading it and putting it back in. And it was just, that is a tradition that I guess we do, and it's something I couldn't recommend enough.
Yeah.
When you when your kids give you something that says what you mean to them, and when you can give something to your kids, it's priceless.
Yeah, I remember you giving me the first letter in Riggs Street in an envelope. I still remember it was 2 pages. I still remember that. I was probably 10, maybe. I still remember opening. I might have still had a waterbed at that time. It was up in that top room. But another thing that that I would highly recommend if anyone hasn't done this is I have every year I'll write a letter to my kids. That all I know is when I go, give these to my kids. This is what I've learned this year that you need to do.
Wow.
You know, this is my letter to my kids. You know, if something happens, because right now if something happens, then it's just my dad died when I was young, right? But the reality of here it is. This was what I learned this year, and it makes you operate tighter. You know, it makes you go, oh, I'm giving this advice to my kids, but am I doing the same thing? You know, it makes you really reflect on that. That envelope is now just super fat, full of letters, but it's that time.
It's the details. It's not the things that you buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Stuff is overrated.
Yeah.
We have a habit, my wife and I. Every morning, I bring her a cup of coffee to bed. And when she says, I need to get up at 7, then I'll get up at 6:45.
Yeah.
Make her a cup of coffee, bring it up to her bed. Since I know her, I do this. Only one time I didn't do because we had such a quarrel and we were fighting so much.
Yeah.
I was really upset and I didn't do this and I regret this until today.
That's the one day you'll remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since then,
Yeah, that's any day Ale and I are apart. I'll always send her a message every morning, a long, thought-out message every single day. Every single day since we've met.
Yep.
If we're not together, that's what we
Yeah.
do. But it's a good remembrance for ourselves,
yes,
right?
certainly because
you
I
feel it. That's how you start your day.
In the end, I felt when I didn't do this after that, I felt so selfish. Yeah, but for me, it is fun. She always says, "No, you don't need to do that. I need to get up early. You can sleep." I said, first of all, when you get up, I'm awake anyway.
Yeah.
And secondly, no, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I want to do this. Yeah, I want you to have your cup of coffee at your bed before you get up, and then she gets up, takes it into the bathroom with her.
Yeah.
Everything's fine, and
Yeah.
that is.
Which comes all the way full circle to what we do here with Welcome to the Family.
Yeah.
It's Adrian and I, we've known each other since virtually day one of this lounge. And I still think about, I thought about it today. It's this, we're part of each other's lives. Like the reason why we do this show is one, so we can just enjoy our company, but two, so we can help each other continuously grow, can connect with people who are on the other side of the lens. For people who come in for the first visit, there's nothing more than I want to do than have a conversation with you until 3 a.m. And kill a bottle and just show you the way of life. And I think if that relationship is genuine on both sides, where every side of it wants each other to genuinely succeed, it's going to work. And as soon as you just give everything you've got, and if that other person pulls back, you've got the information you need to know. And that's why it makes me so proud and so honored to spend the weekend and into the week with you and to call you family now and to really truly show you how we do things here. And I don't know if it's better or worse, it's just how we do it. This is our world. And
it is much better. I feel being in a family.
Yeah.
And it's completely overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's completely overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
It is such a, it's an amazing thing what this little brown stick has done for our lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're all together because of this.
Yeah.
And it has power beyond enjoyment. And the power is something that I hope everybody out there embraces, and so many that are on here people have become friends. Just from watching us.
Yeah.
Dearly, we're talking
But
about you.
from our standpoint, as Brandon always puts it selfishly, if nobody watches, it's okay. But we've got a video library of us being together, so
Yeah.
it's so we win.
Yeah.
But it's never forget the power of the stick. It is. I think about the people we've met. I think about the experiences that we've had over the last 5 years that are much greater than experiences that I had for 30 years. Mm-hmm. You know, in working in corporate America
Truly.
and all that stuff. It just, you know, guys you just swear are your best friends when you're working together, and the day you leave that company, you
hear
don't
from
talk to them anymore.
No.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the reality is you were friends while you were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's, but here it's different.
Yeah.
You know, it's
certainly is.
totally different.
We say this all the time, from close friends to, you know, people who come visit for the first time. We're spoiled here, and even more spoiled when you become part of the family.
Yeah.
And you'll definitely realize that the more other, you know, lounges that you speak to that bring
I
in
already
your
did.
cigars.
I
Yeah.
already did.
You're going to be like, well, Industrial did this for me. How come you don't do this for me?
Yeah. And
That's
the good thing is for me, on the one hand, I would never try to come here and try to bring a cigar that is not good. Yeah?
Yeah.
Where you say, he's a nice guy, but this cigar sucks.
Which we've had.
But on the
Yeah,
other
I've had
hand,
that.
if I do that, maybe in the best intentions, then you would probably tell me immediately and very honestly,
Yeah.
sorry, this cigar sucks.
Yep.
Go back to the drawing board. And I know that, and I'm grateful that I'll probably not, maybe not at the first time, being thrown out of the family, but I know that I can get honest feedback and that I can improve my brand, not by going to someone and say, this is a great cigar, go sell it, and they say, yeah, okay, we can try.
We can try.
No,
Oh, it's the
I
worst.
come here and you tell me this is good and I would work on this, and then you give me probably exact reasons what is not good.
Yep.
Yeah, and that helps me building my brand, and that helps me, becoming better,
But it helps us,
and it helps you,
right?
Yeah.
Because we're just curators.
yeah,
We're not creators.
and I wouldn't never take it personal.
Yep. It's
He actually asked at the end of our session, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but
No.
at the end of our testing session this evening, he said, not the blend that's coming out next, which we've had the opportunity to smoke it, and you did very well.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's kick-ass.
But
It's kick-ass.
The next blend, if it's okay, I'd like to send samples in and have you guys do this and give me feedback. So that's the spirit of a true partnership.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, because we don't want you to waste your money, we don't want you to waste your time, but we will be honest, and because what you don't want to hear is it's great if it's not.
That is time wasted.
It is.
That is time wasted. That is money wasted. I want your honest feedback on this, because, yeah, we are in this together.
Yep. We have to be.
Yeah, we have to be.
We have to be. Otherwise, we're just buying for the discount.
And I don't want to,
Yeah.
as I said several times, I don't want to sit in my ivory tower and produce cigars, throw them down at you and say, these are great,
Sell them.
try
Sell
them,
them.
sell
Yeah.
them, smoke them, love them, whatever. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. In my eyes, it doesn't work that way anymore for no company. And we've seen this
No.
in this
Yeah.
test today. There were
Yeah.
some really great brands in it where I
Yeah.
said, oh, wow, this is not a good cigar.
And how many of the times that we lit a cigar, and we said, the guys are really nice.
Oh, man,
they're good
nice
guys. God, these guys are good guys.
Yeah.
But man, their cigar was a swing and a miss, and and they think that they took that approach. They didn't ask anybody in advance, and in the end, the advice I always gave when I had my marketing company is always pay attention to the person that writes the last check,
Yeah.
because that's the only one that matters. And so many
Right.
times manufacturers receive their money from a distributor or from a retailer, so they spend time entertaining and building that relationship and wining them and dining them and doing all that stuff. But the miss is it doesn't get to the street And that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters is when you guys walk in this store, go into our e-commerce store, that you have confidence that what you're going to smoke is going to be good. And it is, or we wouldn't have it on our floor. And it's really that simple. So hopefully you guys take advantage of German engineered cigars. Tonight was a great show. I don't know how long it went, but it's
That's perfect.
It's been a great
Julie
show.
said, I think this is my favorite show to date.
Nice.
Yeah, 5 minutes shy of 2 hours.
That's great.
Yeah. That was
2 hours?
Yeah, that was 2 hours. It goes quick, doesn't it?
If you had asked me how long are we now, I'd said an hour, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Now we go into the second part.
That's it. That's it. And you guys don't get to see the second part.
Yeah,
so
that's right. But
That's
last
it.
night we were here till well out. I sent the whole staff home, and we stayed here. And
You
and
poor
Craig,
bastard.
And Craig and Nicole sat with us, and we just
Until
we just
what
sat- Well, I think we left close to 11.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, not
That
that
was
late.
okay,
It
yeah.
wasn't another 3
It wasn't
a.m.
3 in the morning.
No.
Okay,
no.
okay.
It was-
I made sure.
But it was fantastic because they had a great time.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and it
here's
was
my
just-
favorite thing that I've learned from Oliver from a German is the German is on their schedule. So when we're at the house and we're hanging out, he kind of feels where we're all trying to figure out, wrangle the kids, and he goes, I think I'm going to go smoke this cigar. I was like, perfect. Okay, good. All right, time to move. And when we were hanging the other night, he goes, I need to go home now. Yeah. Like, okay, that sounds good. All right, let's move.
The bottle was empty. What do you expect?
What are we gonna do? No, that's it. But thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This is Cigar Talk Live. This is our Tuesday get together, and this has been one of my favorite get-togethers. Has been one of my favorite weekends to date. I mean, just truly, the conversations, the cigars. The entire experience has been unbelievable. I'll never forget it, and I look forward to the next time.
So do I. I will have a hard time to leave tomorrow.
Cheers. You always have a home
Cheers.
here. Welcome in.
Salute.
So
Thanks,
we'll
guys.
see you guys on Saturday for Saturday at the shop, and of course next Tuesday night for Cigar Talk Live. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, German Engineered Cigars. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Love,
Later,
peace,
guys.
and chicken
Thanks.
grease.